today we learned that how to map performance with which style to apply. That was a great moment for me. I learned this. I'll try to apply this.
Takeaway for me is become enterprise manager soon, to rush towards that. There has to be this road I never knew. Now my next goal, I know what to start managing.
Can be a mathematical formula for leadership, so that was really cool to know. So the P is equal to A plus M and all that was really cool.
As of now, I'm not leading anyone, but definitely the things, the content which I have learned in this session will definitely help in the future endeavors. Yeah.
It was the slide that you shared with efficient and inefficient, right? So just to, because always there's a thin boundary and we overstep, and we also don't see that, when we overstep and when we started overusing few of the quadrants, and that was one. And thank you for sharing all those examples. I think those were really helpful to relate what you're trying to show and what you were trying to explain there.
For me, potential part was really the R1 factor, which I would I liked it, and it is very helpful for us and stuff. And now one more thing what I understand is what is the next set of leadership ladder where I should work around and move to the next level of it is what I got a very clear picture on it. And this one is something which I will start applying into the current project where I'm working, because I'm in that same situation now. Situation where mix of all type of people I have freshers, experience. Yeah, and I started applying, but yeah, now I understood the right paths to apply and the right formulas to use to apply those things. Yeah. One more thing that I would like to say is you are a good presenter.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
So we have seen what leaders do, right? Or how do they get the work done by the team. But then what we saw today is what happens when you overdo it, right? So that is what I personally learned and how to avoid it.
There's a huge difference between having a discussion and dialogue. So that's what I learned, that we should have more of dialogues and less of discussions. Because we should also hear about others. So those 4 steps where we talked about intent, listening, advocacy, and then building an agreement. So that's the 4-step process. Yeah, that's kind of a takeaway for me. One of the
I think the RPR model will definitely make us more confident and to have a win-win situation or a meaningful communication or a discussion with anybody for that matter, so that you now go and concentrate on all these areas and try to bring out a result what you want. I think
there was that one of the good factors or good attributes of a leader is somebody who could make their team understand the bigger picture. You know it in your mind, you have the vision, but if you can't keep your team aligned and show them the big picture, right? And it's always so difficult to keep them together and bound towards the goal.
I think for me, Anju, that will be 2 things. One is to understand the difference between the leader and manager, right? And to understand that a person can be both. So earlier I used to think that, a person is either a leader or a manager, but this was very good. This was a very good discussion actually with you when we got to understand that a single person can fill in both the shoes basically, right? And the second thing I think was the communication principles. So they were very crisp and detailed, something to actually keep in mind while, having future conversations.
The takeaway is the golden principles actually. So all were literally very much connected for me actually. And in that, the first one, connect before communicate, and especially the eye contact is more than 1,000 words is important. So that was very.
One was leader versus manager. How you can be an effective leader and how you can manage well. That key points difference exactly I got to know. And the second one was that RPR model. How 3 things can be is very important to have a better communication when you speak with anyone, and how to set effective goals. That was one of the key points I would like to say. Good one.
Okay. Quickly, anything that you all learned new from this or something that you can apply?
So to start, to negotiate, start with your high or say the minimum expectation. I wouldn't say high, the minimum, as the example said you at least looking for 39 lakhs or 38, whatever the number. So the minimum or the high expectation, then look at the partner. And if you start at a low, I think you're going to lose on your side. So I think that was a takeaway.
Whole idea is not to prove your point, but to come up to a decision where it will be beneficial for the team, and then get the most out of those two conflicting ideas.
Till now, I used to think like being accommodating. I was not aware about that term, but now I got the term. So I used to think this is a good way always. But now I come to know like just now I realized like in this long process, I have lost many valuable things like my goals, and I have paid a lot. So now I should focus on collaboration more. Like I should shift my technology from always being accommodating to sometime being accommodating and being collaborative. So that will make me, I think, a little bit more a better leader.
Very good. Very good. Well summarized. Yeah.
Quickly give my viewpoint. So it is always interesting to see that, and of course, under your guidance, Anju, but also the slides that you present. I'm always fascinated that, because I always assume that human beings are very irrational, right? We never know why we behave the way we behave. But then looking at the slides and all that, it looks like human beings are more, there is a formula to how human behavior rather than irrational. It looks irrational, but it is not actually. It is rational, and there is we can categorize it, and we can form scientific opinions around it and all that, which is very fascinating. And of course, a great learning experience, as everyone said, that I never knew that there can be different styles. I just thought my style was right, maybe, but like in different situations we have to adopt. So that is a great learning for me.
I mean, negotiation cannot happen if you just want to win, right? Collaboration or any other style, right? Generally try to prove our point, right? And we think we are negotiating for us because we want to achieve something. But a negotiation is fruitful only when we understand and very clearly state what the other person is also looking for. That is where you can get into a dialogue and not just kind of try to rush towards the conclusion of a negotiation. That's something that I think we implicitly or intrinsically do that, but something which I learned today that is very important as part of a negotiation process.
Negotiation skills, like I realized that we used to do with the clients, but which category I fall under and how to, there is some really a background for each category, right? That I mean, that was very good. And one more image you showed, that bridging the differences, right? We both the parties work on a common agenda or common factor that we need to find out, and through that we can bridge the gap or difference of opinion. That was very good. Yeah, that I feel it is a takeaway from this session.
So the best part was the self-evaluation, where I got to know under which category I fall into and how I can proceed further. So there are a lot of good things. I would say, yeah, all the sessions are really good, and I'm not sure whether when we cross our paths again, but I'll definitely remember you. So thank you.
The entire session was a complete takeaway because the entire session was connected, and everything is connected. I cannot say this one specific thing because the entire session was like a train where each has a chain. Actually, if one thing missed, the other thing will not be a successful conversation. That's what I felt with this session. For me, the entire session was takeaway.